Do you think the
in
people
us.
of Kanyakumari are wanting to elect Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan?
And the fisher folk are still a little bitter against the BJP, unlike the fisher folk of Rameshwaram who are for the BJP. Very and is community is something that's so important in Kanyakumari. Vijay Vasant is a Nadar, Christian Nadar. This man Punrada Krishnan is a Nadar, Hindu Nadar. So important. And we have people talking, don't talk caste, don't talk caste. Bull. There's a huge groundswell of support for Vijay Vasant. Indeed, I would give a slightly higher percentage to Mr. Vijay Vasant. Star power, which somebody like Manik Thakur will not have. Manikam Tagore has got solidity, but star power. So the ADMK and the DMDK have an excellent rapport in Virudhunagar, which might well be the key turning point of this contest. And that I'm seeing is a huge wave. It's a huge wave there, Mala. It's a huge wave. And I believe that this boy will be carried in the sweep of that wave, and he might well reach the goal post before Manik Tagore as well as Radhika. So Madurai also is it's a again a very interesting three-way contest. But I believe that if you look a little more,
Honestly, three-way
little deep,
contest.
huh?
Honestly, a
No,
three-way contest.
that's what. If you look a little deeper, it becomes a two-way contest, and if you look a little deeper still,
I
it
think it's a
becomes a
sweep.
one-way.
Prime Minister Modi is doing a show, I mean, a roadshow, or I think he's attending a public meeting in Virudhunagar. Don't you think that is going to make any difference in Virudhunagar?
It will
I
make a
missed out.
difference.
It
Well,
will,
it's a good question.
but welcome back to Face Off with Dr. J.S. Rajkumar from Lifeline Hospitals to continue on his groundwork and what he feels as the pulse of the people of Tamil Nadu for the upcoming elections, Lok Sabha elections 2024. Welcome again, Doctor. It's a great pleasure.
Nice to see you, Mala, and nice to interact with all the viewers.
Thank you, Doctor. So today's constituencies are, again, very interesting constituencies. I want to start with Kanyakumari, the great Kanyakumari, the southern tip of India, and the so-called stronghold of BJP. What do you think is happening, Doctor?
Very interesting, all three constituencies. I'll start with Kanyakumari, and here you find two very big candidates. It's essentially, I want to say this, in many places, many constituencies, we have a triangular or sometimes even a quadrangular contest. But as far as Kanyakumari is concerned, although there are four people, there is Mr. Punrada Krishnan from the BJP, there is Mr. Vijay Vasant Kumar from the Congress, and then you have Maria Jennifer and
Nazareth.
Nazareth. Now, Maria Jennifer and Nazareth are more like cameos. And I'll tell you, there's an interesting, they're being brought in from a community, it's non-Tamil, brought in from the fisher folk community to represent the local people. Now, that actually is going to act in favor of Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan because there is some clamor from the fisher folk against some of the one major port movement. So I'm going to zoom back from the candidates, and let's look at the major issues in Kanyakumari. So one major issue was the formation of this EICCL. They want to bring this NIM, Incorporated Container Limited Corporation. Basically a huge port to hold in containers at NIM, which would have brought in a lot of work, but at the risk of huge environmental damage, and it would have affected the lives of nearly 50,000 to 1 lakh fisher folk. So exactly like Sterling in Thoothukudi, there was Inayam in Kanyakumari where the fisher folk agitated. And in 2017, the BJP government pulled back and Pon Radhakrishnan pulled back and said, okay, we are moving the container from you to Kovalam, where there's already been a lot of environmental damage. So a slew of articles on development at the risk of destruction of the environment came in there. And the fisher folk were
But
all
Kerala
aligned
is
against it.
already very uncomfortable with the Virudhunagar port. And if this is also being moved, I don't, how is the reception there? Have they agreed to it or?
No, but the gap from Indian port is sufficient for them to accept it. And also, there's not much of fishing happening in Kovalam, whereas NIM has a lot of
Mm,
fishing happening there. So
okay.
the direct fisher folk being affected, just like in Kachativ for the Rameshwaram area. Here it's the NIM for the Kanyakumari area. So anyway, but that problem is now solved, and the fisher folk are still a little bitter against the BJP, unlike the fisher folk of Rameshwaram who are for the BJP. So these would have voted for Vijay Vasant and against Pon Radhakrishnan, but they've been neatly bundled up into two other parties. So this that 1 lakh vote will go to two. It almost like Nota. It will go to two smaller parties, which will not make a significant dent. So forget about Nazareth and this the other lady,
Madurai.
the Jennifer. So
Mm.
let's come to the middle. It's a definite two-pronged battle. Definite two-pronged battle. On the one hand, you have a man who's been there for the last 40, 50 years, quietly working away. He's been working with the RSS, with the BJP, bachelor. He belongs to the right community, Nadar, Hindu Nadar. A man who stands for the BJP. There have been no scams. There have been no corruption. Yes, there have been one or two small negative episodes, like he said when he talked anti-conversion. He said we'll chase away the priests, and all the Christians rose up as one. He then withdrew that statement and qualified it and said, "I didn't mean it that way. I meant people who were only into aggressive rabid conversion." Nevertheless, one or two statements like that notwithstanding, he has otherwise had a remarkably unblemished 40-year-old, typical RSS BJP. Usually, you'll find this RSS BJP progression is a fairly ethical progression. I'm not preaching saffron. It's a statistical fact that they are
No, a lot of
steeped in.
people said the bridge in Marthandam was constructed during his tenure, and he was greatly,
Correct. Yeah.
helping for.
You,
But for him, the bridge would not have come, is what
correct.
many people are
Bridges, yeah, yeah,
still calling it
bridges,
out.
roads. He also pushed for that Vande Bharat to be brought, although the main man who did that was the person in the seat was Vijay Basant. Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan did nothing to, or was seen to do nothing, and I think did nothing to block that progress. So up to Vande
It's
Bharat, now it's come up to Nagarpur. So he's got a lot of good things. The other good things he's got going for him are, as I said, he's a Nadar, a very, and his community is something that's so important in Kanyakumari. Vijay Vasant is a Nadar, Christian Nadar. This man, Pundara Krishna is a Nadar, Hindu Nadar. So important. And we have people talking, don't talk caste, don't talk caste. Bull. It's community everywhere. So if you look at these two people, Pon Radhakrishnan has one major factor for him, which Vijay Vasant doesn't have. Namely, people will say this is his last attempt at the MP seat. There's a very clear mandate in the BJP and RSS that after 75, people are superannuated, they're benched, they're not allowed to participate actively. We saw that even in successful people like General V.K. Singh, general in the army, parliamentarian from Ghaziabad, and then he was a minister of state, and yet, although he had a very successful tenure,
even LK Advani ji faced it. So, I mean, man
exactly,
taller
and
than
Advani.
him. You cannot have better example than him.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
basically, what has happened is people are now aware that this is Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan's last shot at the title, and so there is an element of this man has been Mannin Maindan. He's a son of the soil. He's been here with us for 40 years. He has not been involved in any major controversy. It's his last shot at the title, and Vijay Vasant is a good 30 years younger. So that factor, and Tamil people, all of us, Mala,
Do you
have
think the
in
people
us.
of Kanyakumari are wanting to elect Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan? I heard they have, I mean, his popularity at ground level, he was the member of parliament, but his popularity at ground level has suffered a very huge dent and is even among the party cadres, is what I
Yeah,
happen to read from
yeah,
sources.
because
But
you're not yet. I'm not now coming to talk about the negative part. I just finished the positive
oh,
part.
you just
I
finished the
just said
past two.
these are
Okay.
all the positive
Okay.
things. I've Now, we look at the negative things. He does not know how to smile. This gentleman won't say hello. He'll say, that's all. And that is a very, very big. I rang up people yesterday from Virudhunagar, from Kolachal. These are all the various constituencies. Kanyakumari itself, Marthandam. I have a lot of friends there. And they also know Avara, the man who doesn't know how to smile. He's a mask. He's wearing a mask on his face. That kind of thing. And that personal rapport with people, he has somehow not managed to cultivate at all. I tried myself even to speak to him and chat, but he will not let his guard down. So I can see that. So that's one point that's against him. The second point that's against him is, yeah, as I said, a couple of anti-Christian comments that he has made, which the three other Christian candidates are all using against him. All three are saying that, he said against Christians. So he said that long back. But if you look at their speeches, all of them, because the voters told me this.
Still, they're
He
going to get
seems he
only
said,
one third of each of it, or probably Vijay Vasan can get 2/3, and the other people are going to split between the 1/3, the Christian
yeah,
vote.
so they're all saying, he said against Christians, and there is this, he is part of this rabid Hindu group. That kind of perception is being slapped onto him very heavily. So these two factors are heavily against Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan. Permanent, personal rapport, very poor, very poor.
Even
And
among party cadres.
among party cadres. I mean, the party cadres also, the one I spoke to in Marthandam was a party cadre. He said the gentleman just looks at you and says, this Avarana Periya, is he a king? So, unfortunately, personality here is playing a greater role, and that is against him. Now you move to Vijay Vasant. Vijay Vasant is a man who knows how to smile. It's very engaging. He's not just a politician, he's an actor. He's given employment to a large number of people. His father primarily gave employment to a large number of people. Indeed, I asked a couple of people, look, you're talking about feeling bad for Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan. What about feeling bad for Vijay Vasant? And the answer was, yeah, we felt bad for him last time. That's why Mr. Vasant Kumar beat Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan by a huge margin, 2.5 lakh margin. And then he passed away. And in 2021, at the by-election, Vijay Vasant beat Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan by a 1.25 lakh margin. It was not by no means a small margin, but not as massive as his father. People felt that they had to do something for Mr. Vasant, and they gave it to him. Now he has done nothing to blacken his own face. No puns intended there, but he's not done anything to draw the people's ire. He has been straight. He's been talking to the people. He's been going around talking to. I don't know whether you're aware, Mala, but the Vasant and Co. They give a lot of people in Kanyakumari, Marthandam, Kudithala, that area. They give them jobs. Even if they're opening in Tanjavur, they're opening a shop in Madurai, they'll first ask in their own area and take their boys. So all their families are indebted to Vasant and Co. And at the end of the day, a man who puts food on your table is a man that you tend to be primarily grateful to. So I think that way, if you look at it, there's a huge groundswell of support for Vijay Vasant. Indeed, I would give a slightly higher percentage to Mr. Vijay Vasant, slightly higher compared to Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan. But definitely the other two are not two. It's two-pronged, maybe 60-40, maybe 70-30, or if a sweep happens, it may go the other way.
Perfect, because Kanyakumari has been traditionally a Congress, Congress constituency,
Congress
especially
bastion.
Kulachal and what is this, the recent place where Vijaydarani ma'am resigned from.
Vilavangodu.
Yeah, Vilavangodu, Kulachal, all these places have been always with International Congress, and they've been pretty
I'm happy you
strong
mentioned
there.
Vilavangodu, because in Vilavangodu, there is a feeling that their MLA, Vijay Dharani, who gave up all that she had done for the last 30 years, the fact that she was thrice Congress MLA from the same area, thrice she was a Congress whip in the assembly.
Is she going to turn the tide in Velavangodu? Does she have any personal popularity, that could be advantageous to BJP in Velavangodu?
I'm sure she's working for the BJP. She's pulling people that side. But amongst people whom she doesn't know personally, there is a feeling of resentment that Pon Radhakrishnan took away what she had brought to the BJP. So you won't get, supposing she had 100 votes, you won't get all 100 votes. You'll get 50 votes. A lot of them will just go nota. They'll say, no, no, she's just saying that, but inside, I know that she's burning. Also, the Congress did a very, very bad thing on her. That would go against Vijay Vasant, actually. The Congress, they put posters and they sent emails and they trolled her in a very, very below the belt fashion. Very, very below the belt fashion. And that is going to come strongly against the Congress. Just the fact that she was a woman, they used that against her. That's horrible. So I think multifactorial, but Vilavangodu will not go en masse to BJP because Vijay is carrying it. That won't happen. It won't go to Congress. Some of the Congress people told me, no, 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 she was winning because it's a Congress belt. We'll get it. Definitely it won't go. So Vilavangodu is going to split into some for BJP and some for Congress, which in the overall scheme of things will go in favor of BJP, no? Rather than Congress.
One last question on Kanyakumari. So all three candidates, so the Christian vote is being targeted by all three candidates other than the BJP candidate. Is there going to be any amount of Hindu polarization, considering that, the Christians are being definitely, concentrated more by all these three candidates? Is there a possibility for Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan to have a Hindu consolidation benefiting him?
Good point, Mala, because there are two constituencies, Ramanathapuram, where you have the highest percentage of Muslims, and Kanyakumari, where you have the highest percentage of Christians. Interestingly, and this is how civilizational behavior pans out. Interestingly, when one community starts growing inside a mix of communities, then the majority community will start getting together. This is what we are seeing in Ramanathapuram, and this is what we're seeing in Kanyakumari. And therefore, if you look at it, out of 4 candidates, 3 are Christian. Now, that surely should add up to something. I'm not any religion hater, but in a country in a state where Hindus are 82% majority, with 3 Christian candidates, is that just a long arm of coincidence? No, it is because there's been a steadily growing Christian presence there. And
because that has been the basic reason for BJP's growth in Kanyakumari, the
correct,
percentage of
correct.
Christians. Because
This is what
that
civilizational
Kanyakumari
behavior.
district is one district where the Christians are a majority, not just minorities there.
Correct, correct. So that will result in a one-third Christian vote splitting between Nazareth, between Vijay Vasant and Maria. And so that will go away, and the Hindus cannot get polarized. Then, let me put in brackets, and only then will there be a significant victory for Mr. Pon Radhakrishnan. Otherwise, it's touch and go, slightly in favor of Vijay, and little under in favor of Mr.
No, all predictions so far has been favoring Mr. Vijay Vasant, so that's fine. All right, let's move on to the next star constituency, which is Virudhunagar. So again, Virudhunagar is between Manikam Thakur, the current MP, Congress MP again, and the star candidate, Ms. Radhika Sharat Kumar, and Vijay Prabhakaran, son of Captain Vijaykanth, as he is fondly called in Tamil Nadu. After his demise, this is the first election the party is facing. So, how is Virudhunagar looking for you? It definitely looks like a 3-way contest for me, but over to you.
I agree, Mala. I couldn't agree more with you. Classic 3-way contest, classic triangulation contest is in Virudhunagar. Let's look at the individual personalities. As personalities, Manik Tagore, he has stood for the Congress. He's not been jumping up and down. He's been an MP twice. He's actually spoken properly in Parliament. Even when there was an MP walkout in December 2023, he was the one who was interviewed frequently representing the South. Not even Karthi Chidambaram. It was this man. So he's definitely, and so far Manik Tagore has not been in any major controversy at all. No major controversy. So he's solid, old school, grounded, incumbent MP. So that itself will carry a weight. That itself will carry a 25, 30, 35% weight. In comes Radhika, a lady who has entered the hearts of all these people in every slum, in every village, through not the big screen, but the small screen. Through her various things in various serials, her roles, she's been there. And everyone knows Radhika. Chitti, I think she acted, and then a slew of other as a producer. Now,
Lot of stuff.
lot of things. And although she had a brief dalliance with the ADMK for about a year, in 2005, I think. After 1 year, she joined Sharad Kumar's party, and she's been with the SNK for the last 18 years. It's not hopping up and down. Number three, she is a powerful personality. Where, for example, if Rajini is standing, nobody is going to see is he standing under a pen chinnam or remote chinnam, slipper chinnam. It'll just be Rajnikant. So there is a certain element of star power which somebody like Manik Thakur will not have. Manikam Tagore has got solidity, but star power, someone like Shah Rukh Khan, somebody comes and blazes through and goes off. It's just, we put for him with no reason at all. Where
Yeah,
all logic,
she's not a stranger to even anybody in Tamil Nadu. So
that's correct. So
obviously,
everybody knows her. So she's probably one of the most recognized faces from 1978. She's been around for 46 years, not a small thing. So that will have a pull. But then in comes the third person. This person, his dad, was born in the, I think, Ranjidapuram or one of the small places in Virudhunagar. And this boy starts his campaign by going there. For the last 5 or 6 years, as his father's health failed, he represented the DMDK. Instead of the DMDK just quickly fusing with the mainstream party, the way Sharad Kumar just did, they took the long, more difficult, less traveled path. And that's why this boy is heading into the yellow wood, because they chose to just somehow finance the DMDK by themselves, Vijaykanth and his wife. And this boy was representing his dad at all the small functions, some puberty function, wedding function, death function, kept doing. And he's slowly developed a good name with the people.
so
He
he's
also
familiar
started,
there. So he's not someone who's new there. Okay.
he's not new, no, but primarily with the DMDK. But interestingly, since even previously they canvassed along with ADMK, but that time it was ADMK plus BJP plus DMDK. So he's already very, very well known to all the ADMK cadres there. So the ADMK and the DMDK have an excellent rapport in Virudhunagar, which might well be the key turning point of this contest. Whereas Radhika, though she's a star, does not have a rapport with the ground zero, the councillors, with the ground zero workers. This boy does. So he's ticking off the boxes of the councillors, of the ground zero workers, the people, and as I told you, there's always the sympathy vote. Sympathy vote is such a big thing. Oh, poor captain died. We must do something for him. Like for Vasant Kumar, he came in with a bang. This boy is very similar. He's in a very similar position. This is also in a very similar position to EVK Silangovan winning recently. Tamil Nadu people, Tamil and Da, they'll say all that. But they're essentially soft-hearted people and will um, always try to offset somebody's loss, serious loss, that too, like losing a father, by helping him in some way. And that I'm seeing is a huge wave. It's a huge wave there, Mala. It's a huge wave. And I believe that this boy will be carried in the sweep of that wave, and he might well reach the goalpost before Manik Tagore as well as Radhika. So if you ask me to
So you are not telling me that Manikam Thakur is going to win, but you're telling me that the probability of Vijay Prabhakaran winning is more.
Yeah, I would actually, if you asked me to approportion success possibilities, I would give maybe 40 at this point of time to Vijay Prabhakar, 30 and 30 to Radhika and Manikam Tagore. That's how it is poised right now.
And I have an important question. The business community in Sivakasi, that's a very, majority chunk of votes, The business community in Sivakasi is favoring Prime Minister Modi, especially, for his stand on the Made in India crackers and, banning of Chinese crackers. Their business have picked up, significantly well in the last couple of years. And I happen to know that that business community is going to support
Radhika.
Ms. Radhika, and as her caste equation also, she there is a Nadar sentiment that is working out, and so there is a possibility that she'll get a chunk of Nadar votes there. I know that it's not the only community there, but it's one of the dominant communities in that region. So, don't you think these things will favor Radhika better than
They'll
Vijay Prabhakaran?
they'll take away a chunk of votes from Manikam Tagore to Radhika and BJP. That distribution will affect Manik Tagore adversely. But this boy is going to be, I think, Victor Hugo said, no army can resist the invasion of an idea whose time has come. It's like Virudhunagar, we are with Vijay Prabhakar. That's the kind of echoes that we are hearing all around, across the constituencies. And I think that's an area where predominantly it's lower middle class people. And the lower middle class people, the business votes won't count as significantly as the lower middle class votes in Virudhunagar. And I believe it will be, it's still 40-30-30, but I believe it will be
No, I
Vijay
was
Prabhakar.
surprised to know the name of Vijay Prabhakaran because I definitely, I know based on opinion polls and other details and everything, like, I can tell you that the chances for Radhika Sharat Kumar is a little, not too bright, but I definitely thought Manikam Thakur is going to, take that lead. But it's an interesting thing that you've mentioned that Vijay Prabhakaran might end victorious. That's based on what you are seeing at ground level.
Also, I've
Coming
not
to
seen
the
Manikam Tagore in any inside Islam house, and no
Mm,
videos of him circulating. This boy is everywhere. He's
mm,
doing that door to door and capturing people's hearts. And I think this election, the votary are showing that they will vote for people who will come knock on their doors and ask, especially if big people come down.
perfect. Last constituency for the day. My hometown, Madurai.
All right, okay.
So, what is happening in Madurai, Doctor?
Madurai also is it's a again a very interesting three-way contest. But I believe that if you look a
Honestly, three-way
little deep,
contest.
huh?
Honestly, a
No,
three-way contest.
that's what. If you look a little deeper, it becomes a two-way contest, and if you look a little deeper still,
I
it
think it's a
becomes a
sweep.
one-way. Um, one is that Sue Venkatesan. He's a writer. He's a Sarathy Academy winner. He's a man who is known to have wordplay, wordsmith. He's a man who's brought in that Tamilanda feeling by bringing Kiradi into whatever he wrote. He's the one who brought in Surya and Jyotika and went to and checked out Kiradi along with them, whilst 50, 60 school children are waiting in the heat. And this is the same Jyotika that said, you know, instead of repairing temples, you should be spending in schools. She said about Rajaraja Temple, and then she made the children from the same school wait outside. I mean, I think she's a brilliant actress. I like her, but that, and I have nothing personal against her. They're all good friends, but that was not. It was not charitable, keeping them waiting outside. And Sue Venkatesan took them down. That's one thing that I personally feel was not gracious at all. The other very ungracious thing that this man, who's almost certainly going to win, that he did was when SG Surya putting something on Twitter or something, simply wrote, "What was the MP Sue Venkatesan doing?" When he was talking about a Melur in Kadalur, there's a Melur in Madurai,
Madurai.
and the Melur MP is Sue Venkatesan. The Melur MP for
Constituency
Kadalur
comes
is
under
different.
Madurai. Yeah. Yeah.
By mistake, instead of putting this, he just put his name different, and then within a few minutes he changed it. They arrested a youngster for that. They arrested, and that's very, very fascist. And this man, if I were Manik Thakur, I would have come out and said, Talivare, talk to my boss, see him, and said, look, never mind. Let's go. I withdraw my complaint. And, after a few hours or so, let him out. That would have been gracious. Not allow him to stew in jail for a week or something. And then he was writing this series of hate mail exchanges. Why? So I have my personal grudges for lack of grace in the form of Sue Venkatesan, but he's very, very, very well known.
No,
His
honestly,
community.
he is well known, but there is a definite amount of anti-incumbency against Su Venkatesan in Madurai. But the only problem is that is not being reaped properly by both ADMK and BJP in Madurai. Because definitely, I mean, I know the ban is popular. Su Venkatesan is popular, and Madurai has traditionally been, they have voted for communist a lot of times.
Congress and communists.
Congress and communists, they have voted for a lot of times, and But still, there is anti-incumbency against this man. But I feel that the BJP and the ADMK, both of them, are not reaping it properly. Don't you? I mean, I may be wrong. Please correct me if I'm
No,
wrong,
no, you're
doctor.
not
But
wrong. You're not wrong. There's two reasons for that. Because the ADMK candidate, Dr. Saravanan, is from my
mm,
kind of my uh, field, medicine, who runs a private hospital,
doctor, yeah.
acted in some movies. He is carrying so much baggage on his head that he can't throw a stone or attack anybody else. For example, he was in the MDMK, then he jumped to the BJP, then he
DMK,
jumped to the DMK, and then he jumped to the ADMK. I mean,
he
four
was
jumps
everywhere.
and everywhere. And people are, if you look at his, any comment written for what he says or videos that include him will be, I wonder which party he's going to be in next week. People have a very poor opinion about those who jump parties. Somebody as honest as Tamil Manian himself has been trolled because he jumped parties. The environment and the background ecosystems in which he jumped the parties made him do that. But he is not able to build up his credibility only because he jumped parties. So when Tamil Manian cannot do that, imagine this person. So Saravanan is not able to encash, like you said, on the anti-incumbency because he's got too much of anti-incumbency on himself. So Saravanan is going to be, Dr. Saravanan is going to be in what from, I'm also talking about what based on what I spoke to people, he is going to be washed out. Now we come to the third person who's actually an
Ramasrinivasan.
excellent, Professor Ramasrinivasan is an excellent candidate. He has had an unblemished track record. He's not been involved in any controversies, not been involved in any controversies. Even I read a huge left wing post against Pon Radhakrishnan because he said that he was dead against the Me Too movement. Now, the Me Too, perhaps he didn't state clearly enough that the Me Too movement could be overused, but they trolled him for that. But whereas Professor Rama Srinivasan, although he's been with the RSS and the Hindu Munani, has been absolutely straight, absolutely unblemished, absolutely ethical, a font of knowledge. He's one of the persons whom I enjoy listening to. You'll get very good data from history. What happened in the New Justice Party? What happened in this? So much of stuff from him. Yet, yet he's too ethical and decent to simply make use of the anti-establishment that Sue Venkatesan is currently having, and that's the problem with Professor Rama Srinivasan. That he's
Is
just
it
being
is it not also because that BJP has not spread its wing deep into the rural areas of Tamil Nadu?
also could also be they have gone in some rural areas, but not the first
No,
time they've
in
started going.
places like in places around Madurai, the constituencies around Madurai, there has been I mean, I don't know. I'm just reading it out of what I'm seeing in online and in many
Sure, sure.
modes,
That's
but the presence is very less.
correct. It is true that they only now started penetration. If you look at, say, in 6 months, how much can one man do? Annamlai went to many places. He went to Virudhunagar, he went to Madurai, etc. But there's only so much of penetration that you can do. They've therefore not gone to the villages. And if you look at Professor Rama Srinivasan, his team was working in 3 places. Virudhunagar, primarily. Unfortunately, he was pulled to Madurai and Trichy and a little bit in Virudhunagar. So unfortunately, and also the other thing is, if you're in a Mukkulathor community or Nadar community, you can have a good pull. Unfortunately, Professor Ramasrinivasan belongs to the Reddy community, which doesn't have too much of a presence there. So
And that's why
community
you
also,
wanted to contest in Tiruchi or in Virudhunagar.
that's correct, because there's a Reddy Muthurai group, Reddy Muthurai, that group is much more in Trichy. So, but a long story short, instead of Virudhunagar, they gave him Madurai. And in Madurai, he's got a guy who's sitting like a rock there, communist, backed by DMK. So, will Professor Ram Srinivasan make a dent? I believe he will make a significant dent by virtue of his own persona, his own personality. He will make a much bigger dent than Dr. Saravanan, who's been working from the heart of Madurai. From the heart of Madurai. There's another reason for that. The local ADMK cadres are not supporting Saravanan that much
No, no.
because that seat was supposed to go to Raja Satyam, Raja Chellappa's son. And then last minute it was pulled from him and given to Dr. Sri Saravanan for completely unknown reasons. And therefore, these guys are in a bind. Their favorite person is out. And he stood last time and lost. So they wanted to give this young man another chance,
So
Rajasthan.
then ADMK's core Mukulator votes in Madurai, is it going to be reaped by Rama Srinivasan because TTV Dinagaran and OPS are with BJP now in the NDA alliance?
There will be a split of the Mukulathur votes. Definitely, I'm finding that compared to Opani Selvam, TTV Dinakaran seems to have a huge hold on the Mukulathur. He has really come to represent them. And since he is with this gentleman, if he comes and campaigns for Professor Ramasrinivasan for a couple of days, he could he could impact quite a significant traction of the Mukulathur votes. So all that will add up to Professor Srinivasan, and I'm sure he'll come in second. I'm sure he won't be like, I heard a lot of people saying BJP is fighting for either fourth or fifth place in 39 constituencies. That is rubbish. He will come in second, but can he come in first? That's a question mark. And a lot of this depends upon the last 10 days, the last 10 days in which, the beer biryani cash plays a role. And April 14th, the release by Mr. Annamalai of the next edition of the DMK files, showing how 2.25 lakh crore rupees is only sitting with 27 families in Tamil Nadu. That might cause a significant swing.
My last question. Prime Minister Modi is doing a show, a roadshow, or I think he's attending a public meeting in Virudhunagar. Don't you think that is going to make any difference in Virudhunagar?
It will
I
make a
missed out.
difference.
It
Well,
will,
it's a good question.
but
It's definitely going to make a difference, both positive and negative. So all the fence sitters, no, the fence sitters, they will all come this side thinking, okay, at least this man is coming in checking us out. Because some of the ladies, they were talking to Vijay Prabhakar, I was watching it on the net, they're saying, "மறந்துடக்கூடாது, பெரிய ஆள் ஆயிட்ட அப்புறம் வரணும், இங்க வந்து பார்க்கணும்." They want people to at least come and visit them. They are in that kind of level. And they would be thrilled if a man of the stature of, giant stature of Mr. Modi himself would come down. On the other side, the DMK, Congress, CPI people are trolling away and making hay, saying, look, this man is simply coming to cheat you and seduce you and take away your votes. Don't trust him. They are going to town. So, but the fence sitters may come to Modi's side. The left-oriented people are becoming even more strongly left-oriented because of the way in which the media cells of the DMK is handling the Modi visits.
perfect. Thank you, Doctor. We'll continue discussing more constituencies in the coming days and appreciate you taking time and talking to us.
Thank you, Mala. God bless.